Do you know that social media is not good or bad, and that it is you who is using it that is either good or bad? Bad social media users spread rumors and fake news without verification. But good social media users stop, verify the information, and reflect before sharing it. Now, are you a good social media user? Stop the spread of fake news. Verify the authenticity of your source for a better Nigeria.
This message is from the National Orientation Agency.
Good morning, viewers. Welcome to National Orientation Agency Rivers State Dialogue, a platform where we sensitize citizens on government policies, programs, and activities. We bring to you what's happening in our nation, the important issues happening. And like you know, Nigerians are concerned about the general election that is forthcoming. Last year we were calling 2023 general elections. Now we are in 2023. The elections are just few weeks away. It's a thing of concern. Last week we started the topic 2023 general election, PVC collection. Today we will be discussing PVC collection, the journey so far. As you know, it's our thing to bring highly resourced persons into our studio to do justice to every topic. So today is not an exception, as I have with me on my left Mr. CHINWE OPARA, H.O.D Programs, National Orientation Agency, Rivers State. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
And to my left, you have Comrade DADA, Head Free Expression and Pluralism, INS, Rivers State. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good to have you in the studio.
Thank you for having me.
Our topic again is PVC collection, the journey so far. Mr. CHINWE, we want to know what role have NOA played in the PVC collection process?
Okay. Generally, the mandate of the National Orientation Agency is to communicate government policies, programs, and activities to the people, to mobilize the people, to sensitize them, to enlighten them about government policies, programs, and activities. From the inception of this whole process, starting from voters registration, the National Orientation Agency have played very important role in sensitizing the people, in creating awareness, in mobilizing the people to go out en masse and register, and then obtain their permanent voters card. And down to after that, we now move to PVC distribution. The National Orientation Agency has also played very important role in sensitizing the people on the need to go out and then collect their permanent voters card. We have officers in the 23 local government areas here in Rivers State, and in Nigeria we have officers in all the 774 local government areas, and these officers are manned by community orientation and mobilization officers who are familiar with the terrain of the local government area they are manning. So it's with this peculiar nature of National Orientation Agency, we play very important role. We move to the communities, meet with community gatekeepers, meet with relevant stakeholders, carry out advocacies in respect of collection of permanent voters card, and that I think has yielded very positive results.
Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Sonny, would like to ask you, from an organizational view, how would you assess INEC in the issuance process?
Well, usually I like to start with commendation. We commend INEC. A lot of things, obviously their tables are full. A lot of things, handling a lot of things almost at the same time. As a matter of fact, one of the lessons we have learned, and this is not a new lesson, and it has been part of our advocacy over the years, that INEC should be unbundled. A lot of tax they have given to that commission should be handled by independent agencies. But so far they have been able to put all of them together and handle them. But you could see that the commission is very, very overburdened, and that's where I would like to now speak to the issues, the challenges in the PVC collection. INEC INEC's work is being hampered right now with challenges of logistics, basically, and these logistics are induced by first by government, second by external stakeholders. I'd like to speak to the logistics challenges induced by government, and I call them policy threats. And what are the policy threats? The redesign of the new Naira notes and the fuel scarcity. Now, how are they policy threats to the distribution of PVCs? A lot of citizens that should be going to the ward collection points to collect their PVCs right now are very busy, hunting for new Naira notes, busy thinking about how they could get fuel to go about their businesses and all of that. So the collection of PVC right now has become a secondary task to them, because to them the CBN deadline is looming by January 31st. The fuel scarcity, the unending fuel scarcity now, it's almost getting to 4 months now. To get fuel is a challenge. So, citizens would naturally prioritize these things above collection of PVC, irrespective of the fact that PVC is the most important thing right now, because if we don't get it right, you continue to have this kind of, strange policies that will affect the capacity of citizens to operate effectively. Then the other one that has to do with external stakeholders, not really external, by the way, because that also speaks to INEC's internal working operational mechanisms. We still have people who have made it to the ward level to collect their PVCs who have not yet obtained their PVCs. Most times we have received reports like INEC officials asking them, to come back, after election. Somebody told me that he was asked to come back on February 28th. Presidential election is February 25th. And you are asking him to come back February 28th to collect his PVC. So, which means he has been disenfranchised. Technically, he cannot vote. You are telling me that he cannot vote at the presidential election. And we have these reports, are continuing. And the worrying thing is that the commission has not issued a categorical statement, debunking these things. As a matter of fact, some of the statements we have seen from the commission actually, corroborated such reports. Then there is also the challenge of INEC officials not being available at the ward centers. The thinking is by now INEC should be working round the clock. So you are not going to close at your regular timeline, which is a normal civil service timeline. You resume 8 a.m. and you close by 4 p.m. No, the elections are 29 days away. So the expectation is that INEC should be resuming like 7 a.m., be closing around 6 p.m. You should be working Saturdays, you should be working Sundays, there should be no public holiday, because we still have over 30% of PVCs not being collected as we speak. And that is huge, because with the emergence of new power blocks in the electoral process, that's talking about new faces as front runners in the electoral process, there is likelihood that we may go into a runoff, which means we need every PVC. Every PVC. It means that a single PVC can make a difference. So the technicalities within the operational model of INEC should not disenfranchise citizens. And it's important, and that's why I want to commend the NOA for doing this, so that INEC will, I hope INEC is listening. Or if INEC is not listening, I hope people who have the ears of INEC are listening to us right now, so that they can sit down and begin to see how they can address these issues.
Thank you very much. Viewers, you've heard him. One PVC can make the difference. Mr. CHINWE, Mr. Sonny spoke about logistics as a challenge INEC is facing currently. Do you think there are other challenges INEC is facing?
Yes, sure. There are other challenges. First, like he said, I want to also commend INEC in this whole thing, preparation for this forthcoming general election. INEC has done well so far when it comes to distribution and making available all both sensitive and non-sensitive materials like the BVAS machine, the bimodal voters accreditation system machine. in all the states, I'm sure even all the local government areas. One challenge, again, I need to mention here is security. The issue of insecurity in some parts of the country, like in the eastern part and some parts in the northern areas. We are northern part of the country where we have a high level of insecurity. That is a very big challenge that is being faced by INEC in carrying out and discharging their duties effectively. And another challenge that I think INEC is facing is external on the part of the citizens. On the part of the citizens, I will keep saying it every day, we keep sounding it here. There is need for attitudinal change. We shouldn't wait till the deadline. We shouldn't wait till a particular date is given as the final date before we go out to pick our PVC, our permanent voters card. Or we know that before now, during voters registration, voters registration was a continuous exercise, but not until INEC announced that that they are closing their portal or this will be the last date for voters registration. That's when people began to troop out. That's when non-governmental organizations began to voice out, protest, react against that deadline given by government. So it is gradually being part of us. We shouldn't allow that as a political culture. No, it's wrong. We need to change the narrative. We need to respect those in authority, right? When a particular date is given for a particular program or event, citizens should learn how to obey and work in accordance. Because when you are to conduct election in a country like Nigeria, it's not an easy task. INEC has prepared their timetable and they are working, in line with that timetable. So any delay will definitely, alter or affect their preparation. So to me, I think the citizens need to learn how to keep to date and time. Whenever time is given, they should keep to it. Pick up they shouldn't wait till the last day and begin to crowd INEC offices like what is happening now. I called in some of the local government area we monitored. They are experiencing large number of people coming out to pick. The moment the date is extended, you see them on the last one. Waiting for the last time date to come for them to also crowd INEC offices. This process was in the world. How many of them? That nonchalant attitude on the part of our citizens is another challenge INEC is getting. Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir. You've heard there's need for attitudinal change. Nigerians are used to the fire brigade approach, and we need to change that. When the date is given, work with it. Start from the day one. Don't wait until it's the last day to crowd the office. We need attitudinal change. Mr. Sonny Dada, how would you assess citizens' participation in all of these pre-electoral activities?
While I agree with most of the submissions by CHINWE, I want to disagree a little bit on his submission on citizens. And that's because over time we have seen that duty bearers in this part of the world are too technical when they roll out policies. You see a lot of policies that ordinarily should be seamless. You see a lot of technicalities and all that. For instance, I've asked and I keep asking, why can't we just sit down in our homes and do this registration, for instance? Register, print your PVC and all of that. Is it not possible? Can't we sit down in our homes and vote like we see in other civilized climes? If it is possible, excuse me, if it is possible for NIN to decentralize the NIN, registration, decentralize, if it is possible for banks to, seamlessly issue ATM cards without subjecting citizens to the kind of harrowing experience we are currently being subjected to, why can't we just, try, experiment the same thing with PVC and even the PVC collection? As a matter of fact, must I even go to the world to pick my PVC? Can't you decentralize these PVCs, for instance, to the markets, to the churches, the worship centers, the mosques? Do you understand?
Okay, we'll come back to this very discussion, sir. For now, we want to join our correspondent from Akukotoro, where we have Mr. Abiye Senibo standing by. Over to you, Mr. Abiye.
Thank you, presenter, for having me. Today, the NOA River State Dialogue is discussing the topic, PVC collection, the journey so far. And with me to discuss this topic is Mr. David Edak. He is the electoral officer Akutoro local government area. Sir, what do you have to say about the topic, PVC collection and the journey so far in the LG?
Well, it has been a successful story so far. The Commission did so well to take the PVC to the wards. And that means giving everybody an opportunity to collect their PVC. And many people came out and we visited all the wards in the local government area. Despite the challenges, mostly in the riverine area, we have to go down there to meet them. And they were very happy. And it was quite successful. Many people collected their cards. And we are now back to the LGA office, giving out the cards. People are still coming. Those who couldn't have the opportunity of getting their cards in the LG or in their wards now come to the LG to collect. So it is still opened for now until 29th of this month, where we have to stop giving out the cards.
Thank you, sir, for your response. My name is Abiye Senibo. I am reporting from the office of the INEC in Akukotoro local government area. It's over to you, Patient Joseph Ojuma.
Thank you very much, Mr. Abiye Senibo. That was a good report there. We've heard people are coming to collect their PVCs and are still coming. Thank you so much, Nigerians, for turning out to take your PVC. But if you haven't collected yours, there's still time to collect. Just a few more days to go. Do well to collect your PVC. One PVC can make that difference. Like you heard our correspondent, by 29th. 29th is the deadline for collection. Try to collect your PVC before the deadline. So, sir, you were saying, INEC could have done more, like going to marketplaces or like the banks issue ATM. Do you think that would have intrigued more participation?
As a matter of fact, we're talking about inclusivity now. That your question has to do with inclusivity, But let me just round up on the point I was making earlier. Then we link it to what you have just said. What we are saying is make the process seamless. When you make the process seamless, you will attract citizens. Then you will now achieve even more inclusivity. Because as a matter of fact, right now, the electoral process is not inclusive enough. Now look at all the challenges. We just listened to your correspondent in Akukotoro. We didn't see the people, but we could hear the noise at the background, crowd of people and all of that. Tell me, can somebody who is a PWD, that is people with disability, have the time or the courage now to go to that kind of rowdy area to say he wants to get his PVC? Who will even look at him, give him attention, So make the process seamless. When you make the process seamless, naturally citizens will get involved. We see these things work in other climes. Why is it that anytime there are policy issues in this country, we make them too technical? For instance, look at the new Naira notes, CPN, and CPN is saying different things. Commercial banks are saying different things. Up to today, they are still issuing old Naira notes. So you just suffer citizens unnecessarily, So these are the challenges we should look at. When we look at the challenges, we should understand. Then we will understand why citizens have, this kind of attitude towards government policies and all of that. And remember, there is poverty in the land. The moment a man wakes up from his bed in the morning, the first thing he's thinking about is how to make ends meet. Every other thing is secondary to him. So if going to collect that PVC will not translate to money in his pocket at that material time, he makes it a secondary priority. He goes for the one that to him will put food on his table. So there are a number of issues we can sit down here and discuss, if we really want to, make these things right. Then again, Mr. OPARA talked about security, Thank God, here we can sit comfortably and talk about collection of PVCs. We can go and take our PVCs and all that. But there are many parts of this country, in the northwest, in the northeast, even in the north central, where people cannot even go and take their PVC for fear of their lives. And that is why the decentralization idea is very, very important. Take the PVCs to where the people are. You know their units, you know in their data that you collected, their addresses are there. You can just look at your database, for instance, and say, okay, all PVCs that belong to Victoria Street, we mobilize them and take them to Victoria Street, and we do what we call market casting. Somebody will start from number 1 Victoria, with a megaphone, and begin to announce, if you want your PVC and your address is Victoria Street, we are here now, come to social address on Victoria Street and come and take your PVC. You go to Creek Road, you do the same thing. By the time you do that 1-2 weeks, you'll be amazed at the level of PVC rate collection. So policymakers should think out of the box. This idea of sitting down in a cozy environment, AC is blowing, people are drinking coffee, and you begin to roll out policies, and you don't reflect the realities of the grassroots. We'll continue to have these challenges we're having.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sonny. He did say something that struck me. He said Nigerians are used to whatever will not bring money to their pocket becomes the secondary agenda. Don't make your PVC secondary. This is more than money in your pocket. We are talking about 4 years. Who leads you for the next 4 years? Your future, the future of your children. Just because it will not put money in your pocket should not stop you from picking your PVC. Don't sell your votes. Go do well to pick your PVC. So, Mr. Chinwe, what's your prediction on the transparency? Haven't seen the pre-electoral process, the involvement of INEC, how citizens responded. How would you predict 2023 election? Do you predict it transparent or?
Yes. In preparing for the forthcoming general election, I think INEC has introduced a new. There is an innovation. And with the introduction of the bimodal voters accreditation system machine, that's the BVAS machine, and the amendment of the electoral law. I think to that extent, this forthcoming general election will be transparent. It will be transparent to a very large extent with the introduction of this BVAS machine, where electorates will be screened, not just through their thumbprint, but also there will be facial, capturing, screening, and I think it will be transparent. And the issue of incident form is no longer there, won't be there. So the idea of this machine didn't capture me, okay, let's use the incident form, thereby doubling the incident form and so on. No. So I think this 2023 election will be transparent, free, and fair.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Chinwe. Now we want to join our correspondent from Ogbolo, where we have Mrs. Doris Omaku standing by. Over to you, ma.
Good morning, the presenter, Mrs. Patience Ojuma. I'm Doris Omaku from Ogbolo LGA. Discussing this topic with me this morning is the admin of INEC Ogbolo LGA. So, madam, you are welcome to this program. Please, we want to know, what can you have to tell us about this PVC collection journey so far in Ogbolo LGA?
Thank you very much, madam. The PVC collection journey so far in Ogbolo local government has been going on smoothly with no hitch. And the only problem we have is the low turnout of the registrants. They are not coming out to pick their card. And my advice goes to the chairman of this local government and the RA chairman to enlighten the people about this PVC collection and the importance of their PVC. They can do tank crier or whatever to tell their people to come out and pick their card. They have from now till Sunday to pick their card. After Sunday, they might not have that opportunity again.
Thank you very much for coming to this program. Over to you, the presenter, Mrs. Patience Ojuma. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Doris. Well, you've had our correspondent. A lot of PVCs are still lying idle. This goes to say a lot about what we should expect in 2023 election. We want attitudinal change. Do well to pick your PVC so you don't go complaining for the next 4 years about bad leadership. One PVC can make that difference. So, Mr. Sonny Dada, hearing from our correspondents and the fact that a lot of PVCs still lie idle in their offices, how do you predict the participation of citizens in the forthcoming election?
It's unfortunate, even with all the challenges that citizens have to grapple with that we have highlighted here. It is still a responsible thing to do for every citizen to prioritize PVC collection. I was shocked hearing the report from Okubolo, from a correspondent in Okubolo, that talked about very low turnout of PVC. Part of my shock is that Okubolo local government area has a list, one of the least voting strength or population in Rivers State, and yet even with that they are still not even coming out to take their PVC is shocking to me. And she made a very valid point, calling on politicians to go out to do the mobilization. It is very instructive to me because that's one of the things we have also seen in the electoral process. Politicians, when it comes to voter education and voter sensitization, politicians do little or nothing. And I don't know why it is so. They leave most of these assignments for the CSOs, to do. And in a place where CSO is lacking, you see that this is usually the outcome, where at the end of the day you record a low turnout. But on the whole, in terms of general participation in the electoral process, in the 2023 electoral process, I think it will be far, far better and higher than what we used to see before. Why? Because as part of the myriad of challenges that we have here and there, citizens' awareness is very, very high. People are very conscious, and that can be attributed to a number of factors. The not too satisfactory performance of the incumbent government, the way some of the candidates emerged, from the various political party primaries. Whether I like it or not, there are still very strong, important factors in our electoral process, like factors like ethnicity, religion, and all of that. So because of some of these religious, tribal, and ethnic sentiments, a lot of persons decided that they must participate in this process, and the emergence of some new runners, some new front runners. So whether we like it or not, the number will increase. But however, what we're saying is that we can still do better than what we have done. And how can we do better? We need to go out and still claim every PVC that is still lying down in INEC's PVC warehouse. So anybody who has not taken use of PVC, I made it compulsory in my family. I said, go and take your PVC. In fact, last week, some youths came to my house, for something. And after we finished what we're doing, I asked them, have you taken your PVC? Out of about 7 of them that came, 3 of them said they are here to pick up their PVC. And it was funny though, but I was serious, and I told them, I said, don't come back to my house if you don't take your PVC. When next you're coming, I want to see your PVC. If I don't see it, I won't open my door. And they all laughed. But these are some of the steps we could take within our spheres of influence. We could take some very extreme measures just to encourage people to go and take their PVC, because, like I said, at the end of the day, 2 votes, 3 votes, 4 votes might decide who becomes the winner of this election, because this forthcoming election will be keenly contested.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sonny. You've heard what he said. It's just like our slogan, change begins with you. So, if you are able to ensure that everyone around you picks his or her PVC, Mr. CHINWE is able to ensure that everyone around him picks their PVC. Before you know it, we'll all pick our PVCs and we'll have a voice in the forthcoming election. He said 2 or 3 votes can make a difference, but I say even 1 vote can make a difference in this election. Do well to pick your PVC. Mr. CHINWE Operator, what arrangement or what programs are NOA putting up, is NOA putting up to ensure that the 2023 election goes smoothly? Like an awareness program, sensitization, what activities?
Yes, like I earlier said, part of our mandate is to sensitize, to conscientize, and educate voters, the electorate, on the need for violent-free election. Yeah, we have been carrying out such a sensitization campaign, and we will continue to do it with collaboration with non-governmental organizations, CSOs, and other relevant stakeholders before the 2023 general election, which is next month, February 25th. Yeah, our comos are there. We will hit the road on the need for effective participation, on the need for violent-free election.
Thank you very much, viewers. You've heard NOA is carrying out sensitization programs for violent-free election. Election is not war. The only weapon you should go with that day is your PVC. Just let your voice be heard. Election is a period to choose your leader, not to go and fight each other. Let's put our heads together. It will be collective effort to make 2023 election a very peaceful one. We would like to take a few comments. A lot of comments are coming in. Grace and Kemjika would like to say thank you for streaming live with us. Blessing Jumbo, thank you so much for streaming live with us. Mrs. Rosemary Abehat, thank you so much for streaming live with us. Leka Umejiru, thank you so much for streaming live with us. She says, well done, NOA. Mrs. Rosemary Abehat, National Orientation Agency, we are the voice of the people in the 774 local government areas of the Federation. Yes, thank you so much for that comment. Mr. B.S. Senibo, bravo NOA, consistency is the word, always on time, please keep it up. Mr. B.S. still said, from my observation, I noticed that majority of the PVCs not collected are the ones registered in 2011. Does it mean that those PVCs have no owners? Thank you so much for that comment. Would have asked an INEC person. Mr. Charles Williams Opara, kudos to NOA River State. Thank you so much. Mrs. Doris Omaku, thank you for streaming live because Innocential, thank you so much for streaming live because Blessing Jumbo, citizens should learn how to obey government announcements and stop the fire brigade approach. I would like to talk on this comment now. Mr. Sonny Dada, do you predict a further extension of the deadline?
We have, we have already called for a further extension. The situation room, Nigeria situation room, made up of about 79 CSOs, issued a press statement concerning this, calling for a further extension, and that's because of some of the issues we have highlighted here, especially the technicalities coming within INEC. INEC has still not given satisfactory explanation as to why people whose PVCs ought to have been out by now were asked to return after the presidential election. So we are asked to come back in the month of March, even after the governorship election. Then what is the essence of doing the registration? A lot of people are filled with enthusiasm. People that have people are eager to express their adult suffrage, right? So it's important that they are not disenfranchised. So we are asking that 29th is on Sunday. We are asking that it should be further extended. We are not irresponsible to call for this because we know that INEC has a timeline, and so far INEC is working within its timeline. But we also don't believe that INEC should be rigid in its timelines because you are working with human beings. You are not working with a robot. Some unpredictable challenges have come up, such as the Naira design, such as the fuel scarcity and all of that. I'm sure when INEC was putting up its timetable, they didn't know that these challenges would come up. So now that the challenges have come up, they are affecting, the effective participation of citizens, in claiming their PVC. So INEC should not be rigid in its timeline. There should be flexibility. It could be 1 week or additional 2 weeks. I know that a lot of the things you see INEC do are regulated by the Electoral Act. So, but within the context of the Electoral Act, it is possible for INEC to do an extension at least by 1 week, so that people can still have opportunity to claim their PVCs.
Thank you very much, sir. You've heard him, but I'll come to Sir CHINWE after we join our correspondent from Port Harcourt. For now, we'd love to join our correspondent from Port Harcourt City, where we have Samson Olu standing by. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mrs. Joseph Patience, for having me these days into another NOA dialogue. My name is Mr. Olu Samson, and I'm coming from the office of the National Orientation Agency, Rivers State, and Port Harcourt City Local Government. I am reporting live from the office of the EO, the Electoral Officer, Port Harcourt City Local Government, and my report is on PVC collections journey so far. And I know too well that federal government have actually, been doing their best to ensure that the these PVCs are carried down to the ward level for people to collect. And with me here is Mrs. Dorothy, the Electoral Officer of Port Harcourt City Local Government. So, Madam, good to have you. The way forward or journey so far towards the PVC collections. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Like when you were coming in, you saw the crowd outside. People have been turning out to come and pick up their PVC. Like from on the 6th to 22nd of this month, January 2023, we were at the various ward centers. And the turnout too was really very impressive. People really turned out to collect their PVCs. Now that we are back to the office, they are still coming to pick their PVC. And like you will know, the PVC that they are collecting now is not just that of 2021 to 2022. The PVCs of 2011 to 2019, people are still coming. Those who didn't collect before now, they are also still coming to pick up those PVCs.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Dorothy. Good to have you. And over to you, Mrs. Joseph Patience, the NOA Dialogue Presenter. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Samson Olu. Thank you, Port Harcourt City people. We've heard from our correspondents that you're turning out to pick your PVC. That's the spirit. Thank you so much for turning out. Before we joined our correspondent, Mr. Sonny was saying INEC should be more flexible and try to still extend their deadline. But we would want a different opinion on this. We want to have different opinions. So, Mr. CHINWE OPARA, do you think there should be an extension?
Yes, considering, let me consider some of the points he highlighted. Based on that, I think there should be extension, because he said, we are all human, and INEC did not envisage Naira redesign and fuel scarcity and all those stuff. And based on that, there should be, I agree with him, there should be extension. But one particular area that I need to emphasize on, so that that wouldn't be part of Nigerians, of the citizens. Let it not be part of us. That culture of being nonchalant, that culture of being lackadaisical. When decision is being taken and there is a date for there is a final date for the implementation of that process, citizens, that final date, that deadline, that is when citizens will begin to go out to collect their PVC and all. Let us not encourage that. Look at the issue of Naira redesign. I said it here before. 3 months. For the past 3 months, government, CBN have been sounding, please go and deposit your old Naira note. Now they have put 31st January as deadline. People are not complaining. if you go to some places, some citizens still have large volume of old currencies. They don't want to go until the last date. You understand? So let us not inculcate such negative culture and values on our people. Let us as citizens try as much as possible to respect and obey the decisions made by those in authority. It's important because when we continue this extension of the thing, it will become part of us. Anytime any sensitive issue come up, anytime sensitive issues come up, and we fix a date for that, you know, people will relax and wait till when government comes up with deadline. That's when they'll rush and go and pick their PVC or whatever.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chinwe. Before we continue, we would love to open our phone lines so you can call us to bring your contributions and all you. Our phone line is +234 91 66 58 73 55. I take it again. +234 91 66 58 7355. Do well to call and add your contribution. I've noticed that our guests have been saying a lot about the redesigned Naira notes and how it has impacted the picking of our PVCs. I want you to know that we've done 2 episodes on the redesigned Naira notes in our previous dialogues. So if you still have questions on the redesigned Naira notes, why it's not in adequate circulation, do well to watch those episodes. We brought in highly resourced persons to answer all of your questions. I'm sure you get answers to them there. And Mr. Chinwe has said that Nigerians should stop the attitude of waiting for extension. I think if something is actually very important to you, you would make out time. I don't see the fuel scarcity or the redesigned Naira note as a reason you have not picked up your PVC. If they had asked you to come pick money, I'm sure you would have gone to pick it by now. This is more important than the money in your pocket. 4 years, the next 4 years of our lives depend on who we pick as our leader. Do well to pick your PVC and have a voice in the forthcoming election. Thank you. Mr. Sonny Dada, would want to ask, would you say that even if they stop at this point now, would you say the percentage of those who have picked PVC would be enough to justify who leads us?
Now, that's very tricky, but considering the high volume of uncollected PVCs, I'm afraid that may negatively impact the outcome of the 2023 general elections. I was looking at the percentages, and almost about 30%, we still have almost about 30% uncollected PVCs. And we have just highlighted some of the challenges that are responsible for that. So to answer your question directly, of course, that's a very high, large number that may negatively impact the the overall outcome of the electoral process. I wanted to say that if not that I know CHINWE as a staff of NOA, the temptation would have been to say that CHINWE probably works in the office of Mr. Lai Mohammed, when he talked about Nigerians refusing to, when he used the instance of the new Naira notes and how Nigerians failed to go and collect the new Naira notes in the last 3 months. I want to inform him that as at yesterday, I went to the bank. I went to 2 banks. I won't mention them here. And one of them, their ATM was still dispensing old notes, old notes. And that has been the challenge all this while. So it's not like Nigerians are reluctant. It's because the notes are not even available. And that speaks to the technicalities that I talked about earlier in public, in some of the public policies government have rolled out so far. So these policies, when we roll out a policy, we should sit down to appraise the policy to ensure that we remove every bottleneck that may eventually become an excuse for citizens not to obey, those policies. But we are laughing, but it's not funny. If you are out there listening to us right now and you are here to pick your PVC, please go get your PVC, because at the end of the day, if you don't participate in the electoral process, you don't have a right to complain about bad governance. You don't have a right to make any demand from your elected representative. If you call him and he doesn't pick your call, you don't have a right, because you did not participate in the electoral process. Who knows? Maybe it is your vote that will make the difference at the end of the day. So please, citizens should go pick up their PVCs and have that sense of pride, that sense of responsibility that yes, you are contributing to nation building, because participating in the nation's electoral process is actually a contribution to nation building. So with the idea of sitting down and saying that their team made them go do it, that era has passed. It is now our team. There should be collective responsibility. Nobody is happy with the condition of things, except you are living in another planet. But if you are living on planet Earth and you are in this part of Earth, I don't think anybody is satisfied with the way things are. I was asking a friend who voted a certain political party during 2019, and they went to buy fuel. He came back and he was complaining, he was lamenting. He bought a liter of fuel at 320 naira. That was 2 weeks ago. And I asked him, I said, when you went to the filling station to buy the fuel, did they ask you the name of your party? The party that you supported? He said no. I said, you see, that's how it will be if we are not intentional, in the person we elect to represent us. At the end of it, all of us will suffer together. So stop saying it is their team. Go and take your PVC, so that at the end of the day, together we can elect the people that we think have us at heart, people that will go there and do us good.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sonny. You've heard him. Enough of saying it's their thing. It is now our thing. Let's take responsibility and let's vote our leader. Not to say that the government is bad, not to say that they've done us well. We are not judging at this point. We are only saying pick your PVC and vote the person of your choice, just so your conscience is clear and you know you did your own path. We'd like to continue with comments. Mrs. Innocentia is saying, most people that did updates have not collected their PVC. The question is, can they use the old one to vote? From observation, have you noticed that those who did updates haven't collected PVCs?
Well, I've not, apart from what the information he gave us here, that some persons went to INEC office to pick their PVC and they said they should come by 28th of March. But 28th of February to pick their PVC. I don't think I've observed if anybody that has anybody that upgraded or did whatever thing, anybody that has upgraded his PVC. Yes, I don't think I've not observed if they have increased.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Mrs. Christy Oma is saying, I'm watching. Thank you so much for watching. Samuel Achiba, thank you so much for watching. Gladys Adu said, Nigerians don't take advantage of any government program seriously at the initial time, but always blame government at the end. INEC has been shouting for all eligible voters to collect their PVC, but kept delayed until this time. The journey so far is that there is a rush to meet up the deadline. We've said that here Nigerians like fire brigade approach. However, do take advantage of the 2 days you have left and pick your PVC. Abia Senibo is saying citizens should know that where their PVC is domiciled is where they are going to vote. So don't waste your PVC. Plan and be in the place where you would vote. Thank you so much for that contribution. Nkechi Naji, thank you so much for watching. Cynthia Ifan Yoruba, thank you so much for watching. Yegbo Temi Tiger, thank you so much for watching. Douglas Madis, thank you so much. Faith, thank God, thank you for watching. Mary Azeyi, thank you so much for watching. Buma Amadi, thank you. Windax Zobari Faith, thank you for watching. Bekimba Williams said, NOA doing great job. INEC doing well. Pushing forward of PVC collection should not be encouraged. Not to draw back INEC timetables. There will be no time. People will not call for extension. Let's stop for now. Thank you for that contribution. We've said that too. It's high time we stop encouraging Nigerians to always ask for extension. So I think INEC has done a good job. NOA has also done a good job in sensitization.
The CEOs and NGOs
have also done good jobs. Thank you so much, viewers. We have 10 minutes to go. So if you have any contribution, our phone line is still open. Just in case you didn't hear the first time we called, our phone line is +234 9166 587355. Thank you. So, Mr. Chinwe, since they said the deadline is on Sunday, will INEC be working this weekend?
Since the deadline is on Sunday, yeah, INEC definitely will work this weekend. Since the deadline is on Sunday, yeah, they'll work this weekend.
Okay.
Because the most important thing is to ensure that the most important thing for them is to ensure that no PVC is left in their custody. So they'll definitely work this Sunday. By this Sunday, they will be there in the offices will be open. So citizens or electorates who have not picked, who are yet to pick their PVC should go to the offices.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, Chinwe, by way of information, now that's a very important question you asked. The deadline is 29th is Sunday. Now INEC has said that even Saturdays they are issuing PVCs. But if you go to most wards, you don't see INEC officials there. Now I'm speaking as a member of civil liberties organization because we have made these observations, we have done these engagements, we have shouted. INEC has said you can go to your ward on Saturdays to pick your PVCs, but many wards you don't see INEC officials there. And I want to be quoted on this because I want the top hierarchy of INEC to investigate this and ensure that the people they are sending to go to the wards to do this are actually on duty.
Okay, thank you.
Let me come in there. I think INEC has moved the collection of PVC from ward to local.
They initially moved to the wards. Yeah. I'm telling you that at the time they moved to the wards, they were hardly available. They were hardly available. We went to the street, we visited some wards and we shouted, we discussed these things.
So for now, they are in their offices. So citizens should go to their local government headquarters to pick their PVC. It's very important.
Thank you. Try to pick your PVC this weekend if you have not picked. The deadline is on Sunday. Don't leave your PVC lying idle. Let your voice be heard in the forthcoming election. Mr. Sani Dada, I would love to ask you, do you think it would have been appropriate for a third party to pick up, just for persons who are not currently around but wish to come back for the election?
There are security features on the PVC which shouldn't be shared with third parties. It's like your ATM card, it's like your NIN. These are sensitive, documents. For instance, you can't send the third party to go collect your certificate in school, your degree certificate in school and all of that, because of some of this sensitivity that comes with this kind of anything that has to do with data, people's data. We encourage agencies to be very sensitive. And again, by the time you start sending third parties, that's where you begin to have elements of corruption within the system. Nigerian politicians have very strong tendency to always subvert the process. So by the time you encourage third party collection, you rest assured that politicians will subvert the process. They know the strongholds of opponents. So they will send people that will go and disguise as third party, collectors in colluding with corrupt INEC officials, who will give out these PVCs and say, yes, I've given you your PVC, to the person you sent and all of that. So it shouldn't be encouraged at all. Owners of PVC should go and collect their PVCs. It is your contribution to nation building. Make that sacrifice.
Thank you very much. So you've heard him. If you can, no matter where you are, do make it to your local government and pick your PVC so you can participate in the election. Mr. Chinwe, would like to hear your final notes to the viewers.
Okay, what I have to say to the viewers is that they should know, we should all know that the kind of leaders we elect, our level of participation during elections, to a large extent reflects how conscious we are politically. So go and pick your PVC and make sure that you participate effectively in the forthcoming general election.
Thank you very much, Mr. CHINWE. You've heard him. Pick your PVC and make sure you participate. Mr. DADA, what do you have to tell our viewers in conclusion?
Well, I just want to encourage all of us out there, those who have taken our PVCs, congratulations, prepare. Our destiny, we're relying on you. The destiny of this nation is in your hands. We're relying on you. Those who are yet to pick up your PVC, you're not doing yourself any good. You're not doing your generation any good. You are not doing us as Nigerians any good. Things must not remain the same. Go and take your PVC, and on 25th and on March 11th, go out there and boldly elect the man or the woman you think can represent your interests.
Thank you very much, Mr. DADA. So viewers, on the redesigned Naira notes, a few days to go, not just the PVC. If you still have the old notes with you, do well to take them to the bank. By 31st, those notes will be useless to you. We are not investigating an extension. Nigerians should not come again asking for extension. They're giving deadline to this policy. So do well to go deposit your old Naira notes so they are not useless at the end of the day. PVC line with INEC is not your PVC. Do well to pick your PVC so your voice will be heard in the 2023 general election. Election period is a time to celebrate, not a time to fight. It's a time to renegotiate your future. It's a time to choose again who you want to lead you. If you want the current government, it's the time again to vote your person into power. If you're not satisfied with the leadership, it's the time to change the narrative. Whichever way, do well to pick your PVC, do well to vote so your voice will be heard. It's a responsibility you owe yourself, you owe your children, you owe your neighbor, and you owe the nation at large. Do well to pick your PVC. Don't leave it lying idle. At this point, we'd like to bring this discussion to a wrap by thanking all those who should be thanked. We'd like to give honor to whom honor is due. We would want to thank our Executive Director, Mr. Garba Abari, the Director General of National Orientation Agency, Rivers State. Thank you so much for giving us this platform to sensitize citizens. Thank you, sir. We would also want to thank the producer, Barrister Young Ayotamino. Sir, we appreciate your efforts, we appreciate the sacrifices, we appreciate your consistency. Thank you so much for enabling this program stream every Friday. Thank you, sir, we appreciate you. Would not forget to thank the studio director, who doubles as the H.O.D. ICT Department, National Orientation Agency, Rivers State, Mr. Briggs Arolele. Thank you so much, sir, for all of your sacrifices. He's the reason we stream every Friday. Thank you for all that you keep doing in the studio. We appreciate you. Would not forget to thank our guests who are with us today. Thank you so much, Mr. CHINWE OPARA, for coming.
Thank you.
We appreciate you, sir. Thank you so much, Mr. DADA. We appreciate you. So, viewers, would like to bring today's dialogue to a wrap. Don't forget to go watch our previous episode on the redesigned Naira notes. You'll get to know why the notes are not in adequate circulation and answers to a lot of other questions. Do well to also watch our last episode on the 2023 general election. Try to share this too, so those who were not able to connect with us get to see this video and watch it. Information is power. Social media is a larger platform to reach out to people. It's difficult to gather physical people in thousands, but with your social media platform, you can gather millions of people just in a day. Do well to share, like, comment, and join us again next Friday, same time, same day. Until then, I remain Patience Joseph.